Hello, welcome back, and we're here again with the standard deck with the new cards, Murders at Carlo Manor, but with this version, as we see, that's somewhat updated with this current build. And they call this one as the 4-color Legends. We know that we already have the Esper Legends build, but this one will really go to accommodate a 4th color. Hence, this is called with this deck archetype name. And we got this list from the MTGO challenge that was recently submitted from the MTG Top 8 website. We check this build. We have here a lot of creatures. That's basically 20 creatures, almost all of the legendary types, and a few of the utility cards with this artifact, instance, and a lone planeswalker of the Jace the Perfected Mind in the main deck, as well as some on the sideboard. So we're going to go first as to why this deck would be called as a legendary. And in the similar build for that of the Esper version, we see that it also uses a playset of Plus of Heroes. So this would be one of the main key of mana fix in this build, because it can add 1 mana of any color for casting a legendary spell, and also adding mana of any color among the legendary permanents you control, as well as it can also protect a legendary creature by having a hexproof and indestructible with this activation ability. So with the 4 colors, as you can see here, we have only, I think, the white as the non-color that was included, and we check on what will be the new inclusions as well. So we start off with Inti, Celestial of the Sun, which is the 4 copies in the deck that can have you to do some early aggressive attacks, as well as do some card advantage because of this ability that any of the discarded cards would trigger this ability to exile the top card with library, and then you can play that card until your next end step. So curving it out with Inti would be sure that you can also get a pump to your attacking creature or target attacking creature, as well as do this card advantage whenever you discard 1 or more cards. So with that ability, we have the new card, Lazab, Wearer Faces. So this is a new inclusion in this deck, because it also has this ability that when it attacks, exile target card from a graveyard and then investigate. So investigate would mean creating a clue token. So whenever you sacrifice a clue, you may have Lazab become a copy of that creature card, exile with it until the end of turn. So in any value of this lineup, you can see that we have a variety of options for Lazab to do its ability. But I think this build for Lazab would only go with the mid-range or the mid-game setting, wherein it would just have some card advantage with this card exiled. But early on, any graveyard shenanigans would also be countered by this one, as you can exile card not only from your graveyard but also from your opponent's graveyard, for instance. And of course, the 4 copies of Rona, Herald of Invasion, that can also get you to curve out your hand or discard any of your unnecessary lands, for example. That whenever you cast a legendary spell, you can also untap her, and also the transformation effect that can be activated later on with the 5 and black or 5 and 2 life. You can flip her into Rona Tolarian Obliterator. That can also become a good attacker on its own with a 5/5 body and a trampling ability, and also this one would also become relevant in that several or any regular matchups. Now for the rest of the cards that is added here, some utility cards in the form of Goose Mother. So this can also have you to good mana sink in the mid game, and those with the X mana added would also have it X plus counters. So whenever also it can also create to half of the X paid for the food tokens rounded up, and then you can also have the sacrifice of food when it attacks, then you will draw a card. So with that build, we have also Lisa the Sunslayer. That's also a good 3-drop in this deck because of the first strike death touch, and can also do some card advantage whenever it deals combat damage to a player. You can draw a card, you can destroy enchantments, and then you can also remove up to 3 counters from target permanent. With the 3-drop slot, we also have Slugworth, the Overslime. So this ability would also work well with several of the channel lands, as you can see here. So you know that channel lands are discounted for each of the legendary creature you control. And with Slugork's ability, wherein whenever a land card is put in your graveyard from anywhere, you put +1 counters on Slugork, or if you remove 3 +1 counters, it will be returned to its owner's hand. So it leaves the battlefield also, so you can return up to 3 target land cards from your graveyard to your hand. So mostly all of these channel lands are returned in the case also to give you card advantage and maybe utilize another round of their channel land abilities. So we make sure we have 4 copies of this in the deck so that we can pretty much curve out in the good setup of the ability and also utilize all of its value. And another card that's added for the 3-drop is Titania Voice of Gaia. Whenever 1 or more lands are put in your graveyard from anywhere, you can gain 2 life. It's a good 3/4 body with reach that can block flyers. And this is not really the ability to flip out, because it would be turned into Gaea's Incarnate, but you can check here that we don't have the other land to transform her into that one. But anyway, it would still have to act as a utility card in this build. And also the same with Earth Resurrected that can counter spells, activated abilities or trigger abilities, and also would destroy another target creature or planeswalker if needed. So it also satisfy the legendary spell requirement. And for the instance, of course, spot removals are also essential in the deck, as we don't really need to rely on our creatures. And a good thing that is also included here is the 2 copies of Cryptic Coat that can also have your creature +1/+0 can be blocked, but also gets you a free creature by cloaking the top card with your library, and also can be used to return later on for another utility effect that can also produce creatures. So with that setup, of course, we did the Relic of Legends to add for mana fix, and also have this ability to tap and untap legendary creature you control to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. So with this setup in this main deck, so we have 29 lands composed of several channel lands as mentioned. Bosidu, we have a playset of Otawara, that's very much a high number of copies. We also have Skansan that can produce 1/1 spirit creature tokens, and of course Takenuma, that's for copies to return a creature or planeswalker from the graveyard to your hand. And of course the mana fix with the Zalora's Proving Ground, and also Thunder's Lance for the 3 mana requirement for this deck. So the lone planeswalker in the main deck, I'm not really sure what would be its function, aside that they can also have your player mill 3 cards, and then if the graveyard has 20 or more cards, you will draw 3 cards or you will draw a card. Maybe in matchups for Domain, since this would be the usual sideboard against them, you would need for them to mill out their library. Then Jace, the Perfected Mind main deck would be the best choice to have this in this build. As for the sideboard, let's just do a quick rundown. So additional spot removals with cut downs. We also have to need to discard your opponents for the mid-range and control matchup, so we need Duress. A copy of Long Goodbye also as a cheap spot removal that can be countered to destroy target creature or planeswalker with mana value 3 or less. Additional copy of Cryptic Coat that can also have to be a creature source, and also making sure that your attacker can't be blocked. 3 copies of Grisly Deluge. We know that the white or the tokens deck are still prevalent in the metagame, so we need also to have a way to have a cheap mass removal for them. We also have additional Titania Voice of Gaia for the support, additional Air Tie for also the same function, making sure that you have a solid counter spell, and 2 more copies of this, the Perfected Mind, for the domain and control matchup, as well as a copy of Shieldred, which can punish card draw effects from your opponent. So that brings up the 15 card sideboard. Let's check the mana base. It's 2.58, quite cheap for this deck, but we can see that we can have still have a good mid-range setting, with also all of these channel lands that can still be used as utilized as a somewhat spell ability setup. And card distribution, you can hear here a variance. It's mostly blue and green and a little black and red, but I think the mana fix here would be really sufficient enough for the deck to function and maybe curve out well without any color restriction whatsoever. And the deck tokens and extras, we have a clue token here, food token, spirit token as set up for this kind of deck build. So I guess that's pretty much it for this build. I think it didn't made to the top 8, I think, but it's still having a good record. And if for any variants that you may need to have in your MTGO or MTG Arena grinding, I would suggest this deck build if you have, of course, the resources and the cards in your account to build this one. For any somewhat slightly different way to grind, and I would still suggest this one as your deck of choice for the standard metagame format. So I guess that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you for watching on this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe for more of this deck tech as we explore also the upcoming new set, as we also see a few preview of that new cards from the Chicago MagicCon. We'll see about how we can have another video for that, and we can the notifications on so that you can be alerted once we have that new upload. Again, guys, thank you for watching and see you on the next video.